Hello, my name is Mirsha Thomas, and I'm glad to be able to finally see you face to face, so to speak, even though this is only one way. This week we're going to start talking about the proposal to abolish grading, which is a challenging essay since it really challenges us to think outside the box. First of all, a little bit of background information. Paul Goodman is going to attack here the grade system. So we will have to kind of see where he's coming from. If you think about it, what are grades supposed to reveal? Some people would say the amount of work you have put into the course. That's not exactly correct, since we all know that you can score an A in some courses in which you put little effort. Others would say where you stand in relation to other students in the class. That's not fair either, which brings us to the issue of grading on a curve. Now, whether they admit it or not, most instructors would grade on a curve because this is what the grading system is based on. Grading on a curve simply means that most people in the class will establish a middle line, because that's what the average means. Therefore, most people, when they're grading on a curve, would score C. That's the average. A few would go above this average, a few would go below this average. Now, this doesn't take long to realize how unfair the system of grading is. The student is going to be graded not on his or her abilities, but more how his or her abilities relate them to an average. In other words, if you happen to begin a class surrounded by underachievers, even if you do the minimum amount of work, you're still going to be above average. But if the luck of the draw would put you in a class where most people are overachievers, no matter how hard you try and no matter how hard you work, chances are you're still going to be average. You'll have to make extra efforts in order to raise above the average. There is another important point that needs to be taken into consideration when it comes to grading. Now, if you think about it, what is a grade supposed to reveal as far as the instructor is concerned? When you get a test, the instructor is not really interested in what you know, because you already know it. They're not going to test you on the letters of the alphabet or the days of the week, because it's pretty evident that this information is already under control. So a test is supposed to reveal to the instructor what you don't know, so that the instructor may plug up those gaps and compensate for what you don't know. Because of the grading system, most students are not going to be very eager to advertise what they don't know, because that would actually result in a low grade. Therefore, they are going to hide what they don't know to the best of their abilities, making the instructor's life very, very difficult. That's why instructors hate grading, which is a point that Goodman actually raises in the proposal to abolish grades. But how can we avoid grading? Fortunately, Goodman knows what he's doing, and he comes up with an alternative system, which is the medieval system. In medieval universities, which didn't have grades, the point of the final examination is to have the candidate produce a masterpiece or a master's piece in order to show that the candidate is on the same level with his masters. Goodman points out the medieval system is based on a guild, notion, meaning having to belong to some sort of a professional organization, and the final examination or masterpiece was supposed to show to the masters that you're part of the guild and you're a master yourself. In other words, if you wanted to join the organization of doctors, your final masterpiece would have been to perform an operation or to heal a patient, or at the very least not to kill him. If you were a lawyer, your final masterpiece would have been to win a case or to successfully write a will or testament or something like that. If you were a sword maker, your final masterpiece would have been a sword. Without grading the final product, the masters could easily see if the sword was functional or not. It was not like it was kind of functional. It was a C-level sword. It either works or it breaks. Now, this is an unusual way of looking at things, and this is what the essay is challenging us to do, to look at things from outside the box. In the second half of the essay, the author kind of brings up all sorts of interesting points that I would challenge you to investigate in detail. After you do the main ideas, you have taken the quiz that's going to help you with the main ideas. You might want to think of some consequences of Goodman's proposal that you might want to address in paper number 2, whose topic will have to do with education. Some of you might be interested in continuing the investigation based on the lines that Paul Goodman has already proposed in the essay. So let's get back to the essay, keeping these things in mind, and let's try to figure out the main ideas. If you have any questions, there is a mailbox, actually a discussion slot open on Talon, and please bring them up for further investigation. I hope you're going to enjoy this challenge, and I'm looking forward to reading your responses on the board. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.